Well, I was gonna do this a little bit later, but then I realized I'm gonna go on stream later, and then chat's gonna spoil the whole thing for me, so I kind of have to do it now. Okay, so this is side order. They're calling it the overview trailer. I'm guessing they've probably, completely finished development at this point, and so now they have the whole game that they could show us, so they could kind of just show us whatever they want, and maybe this is just to show off the mechanics, get some hype together now that it's just about to release. Glitchy, Matrixy style, seen all that before. Yep. I like the cubes. So we got this kind of like mercury, what do they call it? Silver something? Quicksilver. That's what I'm thinking. That got that kind of look to it. Side order.
Welcome to Inkopolis Square.
There's a voice.
This once thriving district now lies abandoned and has been drained of color.
Yep. Like a dead coral reef.
After awakening in this world of order, an Octoling, Agent 8, along with Pearl, one half of the musical duo Off the Hook, who is now a drone, must ascend
Who
the
is now
Spire
a
of
drone?
Order together.
She's just a drone? That's not Pearl operating the drone? She is the drone? What?
This single-player experience is designed to be replayed over and over again.
Chain. So there's like a combo system?
There are 3 things to
Trying
keep
to do
in
like
mind.
DMC with it?
Floor selection, color chip enhancement, and objective completion. You'll need to repeat this cycle in order to gain more knowledge and reach the top of the spire.
Slay the Spire. Coming to Nintendo Switch.
This elevator is the only way to ascend the spire. However, you can only go up 1 floor at a time.
Pretty
On
crappy
each
elevator.
floor, select one of 3 different objectives to complete. Each objective's difficulty and clear conditions will vary, so choose wisely. Conditions include destroying the portals from which hordes of enemies appear, chasing and defeating enemies, guiding a ball,
Chasing.
and more.
Oh, they've got the 8-ball levels back. Splat zones. What was it she said?
guiding a ball, and more.
And more, okay.
Once you've made your selection, you will receive color chips. Place them on your palette for enhancements like increasing your firing speed or
Aerospray shot.
raising your damage output.
It's cool how it has the
Damage
on the
output.
charger, like you can see
Firing
there's
speed.
a kind of a
Or
augmented reality design, geometric design around the barrel of it, so you can see what enhancements you have on it. That sort of stuff is cool, so that like, you know, you're going to be playing this over and over again. You might forget, wait, what was I running again? And it'll kind of give you the idea of, oh, right, I put this on it.
raising your damage output.
Also make it easier to watch for like content, so like people can see what you have equipped if they've just tuned in.
Over
That's a
60
lot
types
of
of
dodge
color
rolls.
chips can be
Wait, how much ink was that taking?
output.
That was not a... Hold on. So that's 3 dodge rolls. They're still not down to the subline.
Over 60
How much ink
types.
efficiency is that? Does that just like not even take any ink?
Over 60 types
It looked like it wasn't taking ink at all to dodge roll.
of color chips can be unlocked. Use different. Over 60 types of
Power, sport, range, mobility, lucky, and drone.
color chips can be unlocked.
Ink damage, splash damage, sound wave damage. Is that like if you get the special, or is that something for Pearl? Horizontal slash. So yeah, if you get a Splatana, main damage, close, main damage, distant. Huh. So maybe that's like fall off reduction or something on main damage distance? What? Oh, you know what? That's probably like rollers and yeah, rollers where the damage you get different hitboxes of it.
Use different combinations.
Rate, extra dodge roll, mobile special charge, mobile ink recovery. Oh, so maybe it wasn't that they weren't using a lot of ink when they dodge rolled. Maybe it was that they were recharging it with every roll. Ink damage, main damage distance.
To customize your palette to your liking. For example, you can adjust the features of your main weapon.
Is that like
For example,
tower control kind of deal? Where like... No, that looks like a sprinkler.
The features
that looks like
of
that's...
your main weapon.
What is that? They aren't attacking it, and it's putting ink down. And it looks like there's like an ink chamber in the middle that's filling up.
You can adjust the feature.
And it's going on a track like the tower is. I'm really curious what that is.
Of your main weapon. Activate your special weapon in rapid succession. Or
that looks really scary. It's like if this doesn't one-shot them right here, they are so dead.
Or widen the explosive range of your bomb.
Oh, that would be broken if that was in the main game. So is the chain...
Or widen the explosive range of...
The chain in the upper left, is that just like splatting enemies, or is that just general objectives? Like, I'm curious what that is and how that works and what that's for. It feels, the way that it like ticks down as soon as something happens, it makes it feel like it's a DMC kind of system. For those who don't know, that's Devil May Cry. They have a ranking for like style points basically in the upper corner of the screen the entire time you're playing. So it like encourages you to keep doing cool things to keep the meter ascending over time. It's a mechanic that's really popular. It's been used in a lot of other games. Like Ultra Kill comes to mind recently of a game that I've played that uses that sort of system to like keep it fast paced, to keep you trying to do the things that the game thinks are cool. It's interesting in this game because it's like, what else do you have besides like splatting enemies to buff that? But I mean, if you've got a whole bunch of enemies and it's just encouraging you to keep splatting them, that might be neat. Thing is, you also have limited resources to do that. Like in a game like DMC or Ultra Kill, it's not like you have like limited resources. You can just keep mashing the fire button or mashing. Well, not mashing. You just hold it down, but you might mash it depending on the weapon. Anyway, like you might keep mashing your combos or like repeatedly shooting, and there's no like ammo issue, there's no like mana issue, but in this game you run out of ink. So I guess in order to keep that going, you might have to get some ink efficiency perks to just be able to keep raising that. And maybe I've got it completely wrong, and maybe they'll explain that later on, but
your bombs.
See how that actually manages to influence gameplay.
You can also upgrade the Pearl Drone, who can support you in combat. So even if your current loadout isn't quite fitting, you may continue to make progress.
Okay. So their idea with the Pearl Drone is that it's there as kind of an insurance policy in case the stuff that you end up with on a given floor just doesn't work well.
As you ascend the spire, more difficult objectives and enemies will attempt to block your path. To
What did they
ascend
call
the
that
spire,
one? Unreasonable, shelterless up and down floor?
more difficult objectives and enemies will attempt to block your path.
Unreasonable
Fail to reach
does
the-
sound pretty challenging if they're really intending to live up to that name.
Top, and you'll be forced to start over from the very beginning, regardless of your current floor. Additionally, you will forfeit all color chips obtained. However, they will be converted into a currency known as pearls. Use pearls to acquire permanent
PRLZ.
upgrades before your next run, such as having more lives, reducing damage received, and improving your base abilities. to give you a fighting chance in completing objectives.
One thing that's going to be really cool about this is that there are going to be all sorts of challenge runs that are now available. Like, you could try to do this with just a single life, you know, minimize the perks that you get. All sorts of things are going to be possible that way. I'm really curious to see how much this takes off, because, like, you look at Salmon Run and how it's just got its whole separate community behind it. Table Turf, how it's got its whole separate community behind it. Like, this could just be like a fourth video game inside this video game that has like a significant following and like optimizers and everything, speedrunners. People are just going to learn all the layouts like they learn Salmon Run waves. So I'm really curious what happens with that, and it might also be a useful practice tool depending on what kinds of challenges we get. I'm skeptical about that to an extent, because for one thing, if there's some kind of randomization to it, you can't really predict what it is you're going to have to play. For another, these enemies are not going to behave like humans, and the platforming challenges and whatnot tend not to really test the same skills as the multiplayer PvP. Might be good Salmon Run practice, I don't know. But if there are, for example, levels where you get a certain special and you have to use that repeatedly, that could be really good. I don't remember if there's one of those for Inkjet in this game, in the main game. So, you know, stuff like that where you can just isolate a certain skill can be useful. But otherwise, you know, I'd probably only play it casually, but I'll definitely play it casually.
Floor selection, color chip enhancement, objective completion. Repeat this cycle and conquer the spire.
It's very weird that they just keep calling it the Spire when that's like a very established game. Slay the Spire. Like, I get you can't copyright that name, but also it's just, everybody who's played that game is just like, they're experiencing their brain rot every time they say that word.
In this colorless world and the spire of order, you must contend with many trials and terrors. And at journey's end, what awaits you at the top? Side Order. Wave 2 of the Splatoon 3 Expansion Pass paid DLC for the Splatoon 3 game launches on the Nintendo Switch system February 22nd. The Splatoon 3 Expansion Pass is available now on Nintendo.
Okay, replica. Ooh, there's another splatter shot, and it looks. It's just all white. I don't know if I'm gonna like that one. I think I like the other one better, but still beats the Hero Shot replica for sure. So you get all of this gear. You get the special dualies. Is that a Luna Blaster in the background that looks different? Do you just get like replica gear of all of these? I guess it's like the gear from the replica gear from, I'm totally blanking, an Octo expansion. So yeah, there's a new Luna. Looks like there's a new Heavy, a new Stamper, a new Brella. What's the shadow of below the Brella on the bottom left? Somebody's got that figured out. I'm blanking on what that would be. But then that's a Tri-Stringer, that's a Splat Roller, that's an Octobrush. Some kind of bucket, probably the V-Bucket. I think we saw the V-Bucket earlier. And I think that's the Charger. Okay, so new skins for all of that, but they're just this, like, chrome and white plastic. And that's, like, the only aesthetic to them, so the Luna Blaster basically looks the same. And I don't know. The dualies might be cool, but I don't think I'm digging anything else there. Those earrings aren't in the game already, are they? I also don't remember if that's a hairstyle that exists. I never mess with my hairstyle.
Nintendo eShop.
So, didn't learn a ton more about the game. Had a few more things to like look at and speculate about, but that is definitely exciting, and I'm happy to have the new content to put out there. I'm probably gonna be playing this on stream. We'll see what it is we want to make of that. But what's first on my mind is Genesis, which is happening this weekend, and I'll be out for that. And the fact that I've got to make a whole bunch of videos to schedule for that weekend. Woo! This is fun. I'm going to be so busy. But looking forward to see what comes of that. Like I said, if there's another community that forms around it, that's only ever good for the game. Love to see that sort of thing. And we'll play it when it's out. It's the 22nd, I think they said it was. So that's 9 days from now. I guess it's probably like 8.5 because it's probably going to release in NA a little bit before the day that's announced for Japan. I think that's usually how it goes. So a little more than a week. We'll see it then.